Victory Studios in downtown Little Rock, this is Capitol View.
And welcome to Capitol View. I'm your host, Roby Brock. Thank you so much for joining us. Well, if you haven't already early voted and are planning to go to the polls on Election Day, we're here to give you a preview of what to expect. First up, Josie Lenora from Little Rock Public Radio is my first guest. She covers Capitol and Arkansas politics. Good to have you with us. Thank you for being here, Josie. Let's begin with the most high-profile race on the ballot this year will be the Chief Justice race in the Arkansas Supreme Court, which really doesn't gen a whole lot of enthusiasm for very many people. Who's in this race, and kind of what are you expecting?
Well, this year's a little interesting because, first of all, this is a runoff. There was initially 4 candidates, but also this has taken on kind of new light for people after the abortion verdict. Rhonda Wood was the justice who wrote the verdict that threw out the abortion amendment. So I'm seeing a lot of Democratic strong feelings about this race that I haven't really seen for a race like this in the past. It's also interesting she's running against Justice Karen Baker. Baker's been really hard to pin down. She wouldn't do an interview with our station. She's not doing a lot of campaigning, but there's a big Democratic support for Karen Baker right now because of that abortion decision.
And Rhonda Wood does have some, I won't want to call it affiliations with the Republican Party, but she's known as more conservative. She is certainly more of a darling with the Republican Party regulars in that respect.
Yeah, she's gotten money from some conservative PACs, and she's also getting support from, she's a member of the Federalist Society, and she's getting some kind of support from Sarah Huckabee Sanders' Super PAC and some of these kind of financial backings from more conservative groups.
The interesting thing to me about that Chief Justice race is that whichever one loses is still on the Arkansas Supreme Court, which is going to probably make for a really interesting dynamic when they get back into deliberations and doing those things again. You'll have the same 2 people that will be there. That just one of them will be Chief Justice and the other one won't.
Yeah, the winner and the loser are going to have to work together no matter what. And I asked Rhonda Wood about that, and she was very cordial about her opponent and said it was going to be completely fine. And the replacement for whoever wins will be appointed by Sarah Huckabee Sanders.
Right. And then Courtney Hudson, who is also on the Supreme Court, was elected to a different Supreme Court seat. So there will be an opening to fill the remainder of her term. So in essence, Governor Sanders will get 2 appointments on the Arkansas Supreme Court. I tend to think that Cody Highland, who is an appointee on that court, probably moves into one of the 2 vacancies, I'm presuming there. But so maybe we'll just see one new face on the court.
It's not a bad guess.
Not a bad guess. Thank you. So, all right, another statewide race that will be on the ballot is for Treasurer of State. We have our Secretary of State, John Thurston, is the Republican nominee. John Pagan, a former state senator, the Democratic nominee. There's a Libertarian in this race too, Michael Packo. Anyhow, what does this Treasurer of State do, and why is this such a high-profile race this time around?
It's high-profile, again, because of that abortion amendment decision. John Thurston was the one who initially threw out the abortion amendment over a paperwork error, and so there's a lot of passion and excitement about this race. John Pagan is very easy to access. He's really excited about this race. He's the Democrat. He's going to watermelon festivals, trying to talk to as many voters as possible. Michael Packo is really excited about being a third-party candidate, and he says he's not going to govern he's going to try to do the job in a normal way and not necessarily make it some big libertarian position, but I don't think he's under any kind of illusions that he's going to win the race. John Thurston is very difficult to get a hold of. He wouldn't do an interview with me, and I guess he's probably just the favorite to win because Arkansas is so red.
Right. And this race, this particular office basically manages some of the money. The vacancy that's there that they're all running to fill is because Mark Lowry, the state treasurer who was elected 2 years ago, passed away shortly after going into office. So we've got that now. 2 issues on the ballot this time around. Issue 1, the easiest one to understand, and at least according to our Talk Business and Hendricks polling, has the most popular support. What does issue 1 do? Why should someone vote for it if they're inclined?
It takes the lottery scholarship. I got the lottery scholarship in school. It's money that you get to go to college, but it takes it and it gives it to career and technical education schools. I haven't seen a lot of opposition. The legislature passed it with bipartisan support to put it on the ballot. People seem pretty excited about it. A voter came to me and was concerned that the money could go to for-profit colleges, and when I talked to one of the sponsors of the legislation, she said that'll be worked out in rules and regs. Other than that, I haven't seen any real criticism of it.
No, I think our poll showed it had 86%. I think there's only one thing that I've ever found in Arkansas that had 86% for it in some sort of popular vote. It was when there was a constitutional amendment several years ago for the right to hunt, fish, and trap. Not a surprise, really. So, yeah. All right, issue 2 will be the big one that everybody will be watching in terms of the issue campaigns on election night. Issue 2 does what? Because it's complicated for some people. I have very politically savvy people. I even had somebody call me from the polling booth and say, I don't understand what this does. Walk me through it.
From the polling booth. Yeah,
Yes.
I've been trying to say this to as many people as possible. If you vote yes on the casino amendment, you are voting against a casino in Polk County. And if you vote against the amendment, you are voting for a casino in Polk County. So it's very confusing. It's the opposite of what you mean to do. And I'm really worried that people might accidentally vote the opposite way they intend to. But Polk County is on track to build a casino. And there's a group that's trying to keep the casino from being built. And they're the same group that lost the bid to build the casino there. And they would say, when you ask them, that they just want local control because the initial amendment to build a casino in Polk County did not succeed in Polk County. 60% of people voted against it. So they would say they just want local control. They don't want people in Polk County to have a casino if they don't want it. Meanwhile, Polk County's been planning to build this casino for years, and they're waiting on that revenue. So those are kind of the two arguments against it. It could be a good economic driver for that community, but also the voters didn't want it when they voted on it. So yes means no on that amendment, no means yes on the amendment.
So we will, a little bit later on in the show, we've got representatives from Issue 2 on both sides that'll be on, so stick around and we'll keep talking about that. This is also, too, you mentioned the two sides that are primarily funding this. The Cherokee Nation is the group that has the casino license for Polk County right now. Obviously, they want to keep it, so they're opposed to Issue 2. The Choctaw Nation did not win the bid. They do have a casino over in Oklahoma that's probably pretty close to Russellville. They have been funding largely the pro Issue 2 stuff. So I tell everybody it's a little bit of a proxy war between the Cherokee Nation and the Choctaw Nation there too. So accurate.
Yeah, and there's a lot of political backfilling going on because I think, they're saying it's about local control, but I think it's also in a lot of ways about money, about wanting to have a casino or not have a casino because of how they would help their businesses.
Well, we'll listen to the debates here in about 10 minutes. So lastly, the Arkansas legislature, you've got probably half of the 35 seats in the Senate are up. You've got all 100 seats in the House that will either be, they'll be decided one way or the other. Democrats fielded quite a few candidates in this last election cycle to try to break that Republican supermajority in both chambers. Do you see anything substantial changing on that?
Not completely. They put forward over 70 candidates, so they're really going for quantity. I know they're really excited about those races in West Memphis. They want to hold on to some Democratic seats there. We couldn't, at Little Rock Public Radio, get the West Memphis races with the exception of one to talk to us, and we haven't seen a ton of campaigning going on there. So I think that'll be interesting to watch to see if they are able to hold on to those seats in West Memphis.
Yeah. There are some competitive seats too that I'll be keeping an eye on. The Conway has a House race. There's one up in Springdale that I think will be particularly competitive. There's one down in Southeast Arkansas that'll be competitive. That West Memphis seat that you mentioned. There's one in Marion as well. There's a few around Central Arkansas. There'll be a lot to watch on for that night. We'll see if the Republicans build on their 82 or if the Democrats can take it to 25 in that House chamber. I think that's the big thing to watch.
Right now, Republicans have a supermajority, so they're able to get almost everything they want done. So Democrats are just trying to cling on to a couple more seats if they can, just a little bit more power for them.
Yeah. All right. She is Josie Lenora. She is with Little Rock Public Radio. Always good to get your take. You do a great job over there, Josie.
Thank you
so much. Keep it up. All right. I'll see you around the Capitol soon enough. So. All right, when we come back, representatives from Issue 2, the Polk County Anti-Casino Amendment, as I call it, are in studio to outline their positions. Stay with us.